Welcome to another episode of SimRail Podcast. My name is Chancellor, and today I have a special guest, the developer responsible for SimRail single-player mode and scenario system, Eridor.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Most SimRail players, I think, well, including me, spend nearly all of their time in multiplayer. Yet there is another side, of course, of the game built around scenarios. Custom missions, scripted events, tutorials, and of course community-created experiences that can offer something very different from a typical multiplayer session. So with Eridor in the studio, we will try to encourage you and to tell you some more things about the single-player mode. Again, Eridor, welcome to the podcast. Could you briefly introduce yourself and explain your role in SimRail development?
What can I say? I basically started to work on SimRail single-player scenarios like 3 years ago, something like that. And funny thing is that I started basically as a fun, because I don't know if you remember, but first scenarios were created in old JSON format.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, because I like to code, I like to do some IT stuff, I just start to cracking it and switching the nodes, creating some stuff and so on. So I remember that the first thing that I created was some simple scenario from Warszawa to Grodzisk. Later, I started to play around some non-accessible areas of the game.
Uh-oh.
And that was me. That was the beginning of my journey. But basically, at some point, I was. I don't remember who exactly invited me to cooperate with the beta tester team. But yeah, from step to step, I started to create some more serious things, and yeah, we are right now in the place where I created, I think, over 30 or 40 scenarios. So it's been a quite a ride.
Okay, so you were a player, like a passionate player who started to work on the scenarios first. So do I understand it correctly that your current role in the team is scenarios and of course also the amazing sneak peeks you you have posted and made. I forgot about it.
Well, the sneak peeks were more like idea that we have with one of my friends in the team. I don't know if he want to be named, but yeah, we just wanted to do something fun for the community and creating daily snapshot from the stations were seemed to be pretty cool idea. So yeah,
I think they were very well received.
I'm glad.
You have mentioned the first scenarios in JSON. So could you, well, your simple first one was from Warszawa to Grodzisk. So what did they include back then? Because I imagine the JSON system and the early system of scenarios did not have much functionality.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that you can just drive from point A to point B, and I think you could meet at the road amazing 8 bots, 8 non-player trains. So yeah, that back in the days, this were like astonishing numbers.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, I was doing it by hand. I know that back in the days, the team had some kind of editor. They're all famous editor for the single player scenarios that everyone is eager to use. But fortunately for basically everyone, during the talk, we decided to switch from the JSON to the Lua.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you have like 100 times more powerful tool than you had back in the days. And basically, all of my work from that starting point was just helping guys to extend this system. So the first scenarios that I did for Cargo Pack, I believe that you remember that they were pretty basic, and from scenario to scenario we had all new kind of features there. So the Dropbox, the dynamic AIs, and so on and so on. So right now, I believe that we can say that modern scenarios are like on the completely different level. So yeah, I am pretty proud of the outcome.
Yeah, and you should, of course. So let's maybe start from the very beginning. So if you could be so kind and explain what experiences, let's call it like that, can scenarios provide that the multiplayer cannot?
I would say that single player and multiplayer are basically two completely different things. When you join the multiplayer, you are mostly focused on cooperation with the dispatcher. And the single player, although I know there are two approaches, my approach to the single player is that this is basically some kind of a theater.
Mhm.
So we have a player that is the viewer, and we need to just show him the whole act. So, of course, it is more varied, exciting, and let's say less real than it is in the multiplayer. But yeah, it's basically more tense.
Mhm.
I know that another idea for the single player is to recreate everything exactly as it is in the real life. I don't like that much this approach. Yeah, the word is the scene, as someone said.
Which parts of the gameplay can be controlled in the or scripted using Lua in the scenarios? Because I think this is the main advantage, like you've very nicely said. I like that that it's a scene. So the director of the scenario, what tools do they have? What can they do?
Well, basically, you can do. In theory, you can do everything. Because you can load third-party assets and write pretty complex scripts. For example, I remember that at some point, someone was showing me the proof of concept of Lua, and you could play basketball with the passengers.
Oh, with what? Like the passengers were the
Yeah,
ball? I don't.
yeah. You could throw them into the trash bin and score the point.
Okay.
Yeah, but this basically shows how much power you have inside the Lua. Of course, if you want to do something more extensive, it will require many more work than it would be required in the Unity. So on the engine side.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, basically, I don't want to say that everything is possible, but the options are pretty vast.
When I was playing the first train simulator, I think it was Machina, I really liked the audio parts, the dialogues. I think some of the scenarios even are said to be containing the like real life PKP recordings or something like this. So of course we can also use audio tracks, right, in the scenarios, in the scenes for the actors.
Yeah, that's true. I think the best example is from one of the regional scenarios from Krakow. At the very beginning of the scenarios, there is added the trumpet signal from the Krakow main square,
Mhm.
and it blends so well that I can still see from time to time questions if we added it to the core version of the game,
Mhm.
that every full hour you can't hear it in Krakow. But yeah, it's unfortunately just in the single scenario. But yeah, the audio layer is pretty important. Yet the let's say radio chatter in the background was always problem for me. Yeah, I did not develop it as extensively as in the Machina. Of course, I know also examples that you said from Machina, but I did not do that in SimRail. It's just so time consuming, and
Mhm.
of course I cannot use the things that could be recorded on the real PKP because it's against the law. Creating that kind of the things artificially, it would be a very, very time consuming thing.
Yeah, of course. But as you know, there are some community projects where the community members record specific parts of the thing. So
Yeah, of course. Maybe at some point someone will create that, I don't know, library or something that would be able to be usable for every scenario creator, that you could just add it as optional background noise.
oh yeah, that could be one thing. But yeah, of course, like you could write a script, right, and then ask community members to just record for you, I guess.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. But yeah, I did not start that kind of the project because to coordinate all of the people, and it's a big task, and I didn't want to take too much on my head.
Yeah, definitely. You've mentioned we can load third-party assets. So, except for audio, what other things we can load in scenarios?
Well, basically 3D models. Although I had to say that I did not try that yet because I'm not a 3D modeler, and I'm basically working on things that are inside the SimRail core. But yeah, I believe if someone creates some kind of the model, he could just import it to the scenario and use it in some way. I'm not saying that it could be, for example, the whole loco, because scripting it would be a nightmare. But as an object that is just set into the scenery, I think it should work without any major problems.
So I could have my own trash bin on the platform, for example.
Definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chancellor trash bin. I can imagine that with the locomotive or even car models, you still need to use the physics of existing vehicles we have in SimRail, right? So you would need to fit your locomotive model into, let's say, EU07, right? Or something like this.
Well, I'm not certain if it would be that easy to replace the existing model.
Mm-hmm.
The basic level would be to just place some kind of object in the fixed point in the word.
Oh,
Then
okay.
we could talk about
As a decoration, right?
exactly as a decoration. Then you could start to play with moving it, maybe with interacting with player. But adding animations or something like that, I think that would be overkill.
Yeah, that would be a game engine, a new game engine almost, I guess.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know, some SM locomotives on the side track somewhere. That would be quite cool.
Yeah, I think definitely. The only question would be if it would be at the good level of optimization, because if you add something that have too many polygons, you
Yeah.
can blow up the whole game. So yeah, you need to be careful.
We will come back to this definitely. Okay, so I asked you what we can do. So let's talk about what we cannot do. And probably this might be a difficult question, but maybe you have some from your own experience. Because, side note, you also help a lot the scenario creators on the official Discord. So perhaps someone asked you, how can I do this? And then you said, oh, this is not yet applicable in our system. What are the common limitations that people approach when creating the scenario?
I'm afraid that I don't have any strict request that I reject. There was one thing, but I don't remember what it was. But I know what what are my top let's say, things that I would like to see, and yeah, we don't have it because they are pretty tough to be done. For sure. Okay, I can name 3 of them.
Sure, please.
If you, for example, compare SimRail to Euro Truck Simulator, the thing that would hit you the most is the AI traffic. Because basically there you have cars, you have trucks that are just going behind you. They can pass you from the left, from the right, and basically it's all automated and done by AI. Since we are on more strict, let's say, traffic level than on normal road, we cannot have like procedurally generated AI traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that this is the thing that is most time consuming right now during the scenario creation. Because if you would like to, for example, create scenario from Katowice to Warszawa, you need to add like hundreds of trains if you want to fill up completely the road. So you need to think where everything will spawn, where it will be despawned, if it will pass through the station. If so, then you need to create the roads. You need to think of the collisions. What if the player have collision with the train and something will back up? So yeah, it's pretty tough, and I would want very, very much to have it automated, but yeah, unfortunately, the railway cannot allow us to just throw the train, and yeah.
Yeah, because like you would also need to connect the like signaling,
Yeah.
right, to the procedurally generated thing. So in short, if we want to have non-player traffic, we need to design every single vehicle or train, let's call it train, not necessarily just a vehicle, with all the stops, spawning points, and despawning points. That's what you are saying, that it's time consuming, right?
Yes, if you would like to create the whole net. So if you would like to simulate, just throw a player into the map that you have the completely filled up, like on the multiplayer, I would say it would be a humongous task. So there are some cheats, and basically my cheating here is if the player is going through some kind of the railway line, I am just spawning a train like 3 kilometers ahead of him. They are passing on the scenery, and after they pass, let's say they will go on the distance like 2 kilometers, it will despawn. So I don't have to create hundreds of the time schedules and so on, and I can just focus on creating additional scenarios, which I think is much, much more beneficial.
I see the connection here with I don't know how to call it, but I feel like the SimRail developers are panically scared of players seeing despawning and spawning a train. That's why we have like those additional, like sometimes strange legs of routes, right? When the train can safely disappear and the player will not be disturbed and I don't know, hurt until.
I know for what are you referring to, but I can assume that of course the multiplayer had this unwritten policy that we don't want for the player to see that something is appearing and disappearing in front of his nose. But in terms of a single player, I would rather say that it just developed during the time. After my first scenarios that were released in Cargo Pack, I got quite a few messages that, for example, on the 80th kilometer of the 8th line, I could see that the train disappeared, and I did not like it, and I need to fix that. So
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's basically was done by the community demand. So
Okay.
fortunately, right now it is much easier to do it because at the beginning we did not have this dynamic transfer of the trains to let's say external server. It's still on your local computer, but it's like separate software than the SimRail. And basically, during that time, you could have like 4 or 5 trains on map at the same time before the FPS went down.
Mhm.
But right now, you can throw like hundreds of them, and you don't need to be as strict with the despawning as it used to be. So yeah, it's much easier, but still, I think it's good to have it. To have the clean roads without any missing trains and behind the player's back.
Sorry, I know I am like branching out, but so what caused this better optimization, and when was it? Like, was it the change to Lua? No, I guess not. What was the cause of the optimization that we can have more trains now? What was the change?
Well, basically the problem was that in the old days, every train that was added to the map was loaded into the player memory. So even if a train was like 100 kilometers in front of you, you still have it loaded. Of
Fully
course,
loaded, right?
yes, maybe it was in the lowest details because we
Okay.
still have LOD level of detail settings,
Right.
but still it was present. And right now it's I think it's like a orange box that is just driving through the through the trains, but I might be wrong. But yeah, basically this is just not loading the whole meshes of the locals and the cards. Is just doing the miracles.
So just like hyper step in LOD, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It had some cons because it's not fully done. And for example, not loaded trains are just completely ignoring the time schedules. So for now we cannot do, for example, a regional train that is going ahead of you and is stopping at every stop.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, of course, these are things that we can do in some creative way.
Yeah, but the players will not see it, so anyways, right? So.
Certainly, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I distracted you. So that was your first thing. The first missing feature. What's next?
The second feature, and this is something that I am bugging my teammates to have semi-automated time schedules for the transport.
Oh,
Because basically right now, of course you can create it, but creating like a dozen of XML files with the time of arrivals and departures and so on, it's also a pretty big let's say creative process. So yeah, there's an idea to create something that would maybe not automate it, but create it in more simpler way. So just to set up that this train, it will have to stop at every station that he will be passed, and he should have the ending destination that will be displayed in that matter, and let's say the departure times will be just set to the actual time, so you will never see that it is delayed on the stations. But yeah, that's something that is basically right now waiting for better times to be developed. And yeah, hopefully, if this will arrive, it will enhance a bit all of the AI traffic in the game.
I told you I have some community feedback, and you will not believe like what the feedback is, but we will talk about it later on. Okay, yeah, that's a feature I've heard about it. Like people were also talking about it. So yeah, it's good to hear that you also see the need for that and pass it to the team for consideration, of course. Okay, that was the second feature. what's next?
I think I won't surprise you if I say that I would like to see the ability to do anything with the dispatching on the single player. So I would say that this is my number one, but yeah, unfortunately, it's like creating another game from the scratch. So I'm not certain if it will be ever accessible in SimRail, unfortunately.
Yeah, that even like a tutorial, right? That would be because, as I understand, tutorials are also like built in scenarios, right? The ones we have in the game for vehicles.
Yes, although it is also a bit altered because right now I think most of them are created in old JSON format. So basically, the logic is just hidden inside the core. But the new one, and for example, the great example is Skoda. It's more modular. So basically, everyone can attach the tutorial into their scenario.
Interesting.
Yeah, it works. It works pretty similar to Machina. In Machina, you have the window that have all of the checkpoints that you need to do before you go. You don't see it plainly here, but you have also the step that you should be doing during the machine startup or during the initial starting moving the train and so on. But yeah, this is a fairly new system. We added it like a year ago, but yeah, it would be good at some point to polish it up, finish all of the old locos that do not have it yet, and yeah, basically write the tutorials. They're waiting in the queue.
You have mentioned already that we have the editor finally in the game. I believe it's fairly limited. So let's talk about it. What can the built-in scenario editor do today?
Okay, you know what? I would like to basically start from the beginning. Maybe it will also clear up some things because
Okay.
I know that the expectations of the editor are pretty high, and everyone just wants to have click and drag and drop items. But no, as I was saying earlier, because the initial editor was done for the JSON, right now the Lua is just our most extensive editor layer that we will ever have. I know that right now someone is working on a simpler editor, but I doubt that it will ever be as useful as ordinary code. And I would strongly encourage everyone to just try to write it by your own. It's not that hard that it seems, and it could be a lot of fun, basically. But yeah, right now, basically, our, let's say, editor is, I would say, like just the template creation of empty scenario and the manager for workshop. And yeah, that's basically it. Then you can just sit down to Visual Studio or Visual Code or whatever is your favorite IDE, and you can just crack some code.
So how difficult, in your opinion, is it to create a simple scenario for a non-programmer, just a gamer? Because as we said, it includes coding.
Yes, I would say it all basically depends on the scale. Because if you just want to create a scenario where you are going from, let's say, Warszawa Wschodnia to Warszawa Zachodnia, you just need to firstly find out on which roads you want to go. So you need to know the semaphores, the roads, and you need to know the spawning point of the train. And basically that's it. It's like 5-6 lines of code, and you can just go from start to the end. The problem begins when you want to fill it up. because the next thing that you want to do is to do a proper timetable. So you need departure time, stop time for each of the stops. You need to have some more metadata and so on and so on. The good thing is that we have many community tools that are very helpful in creating it. Kudos to Cookie. But still, it will require some time to figure everything out. When you have it, I would say the next point is creating triggers on the tracks. Because definitely, if you just set it up, the roads, you will have all green lights from start to the very end, and it could be a bit boring for the player. So you can, for example, line up the signals when player approaches the semaphore and where he is stopping, or maybe you want to do some passing by some faster train. So yeah, this kind of special events, they require some time, but they are not as difficult, that I would say. The real breaker for me is the AI traffic, but it's just the problem of the vast numbers. I feel like I already speed up my my work by adding a semi-random generator, which of course everyone who wants can use it. You can just take the package from the official scenario folders. But yeah, it basically varies traffic very much, and if someone is trying to replay the scenario, he will have the illusion of having completely different setting around. So yeah, I treat it as a huge win. And finally, the last step is the audio. So recording and generally writing all of the scripts and all the chatter on the radio that is essential for the player. So for me, the must-haves are the changing the radio channel, some events like notification that something will be passing by, or we need to go on the wrong side of the double tracks, or I don't know, the signal. But yeah, these things also are pretty time consuming, and especially if you don't have the army of people that would like to record it, yeah, you need to be creative here.
Yeah. You've mentioned tools made by Cookie for the timetable, right? Where can we find it? And what exactly does it do?
I'm not.
How does it work?
I'm not certain what is right now released, because I know that he's still working on that. But basically, he have it on SimRail -edr.de. So yeah, I know that he want to. I think I know that he want to release it in the future, but I hope that I'm not jumping ahead. Sorry.
So before releasing the podcast, we will ensure that we can talk about it, perhaps.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's not the only one. I think Pewishnia is also creating some kind of the tools for the single player, because it's when we are talking about the timetables, it's just simple XML files. So building a third-party tool is not that hard. It just might be a pretty time-consuming to create a database that will have all of the nodes, all of the points on the map, either entered manually or some kind of downloaded from the official PKP sites. But yeah, the possibilities are pretty vast.
Okay, I think we are ready for the feedback I have mentioned. So, because I have already mentioned numerous times that I am absolutely no specialist of scenarios or single player mode in general, So I have reached out to the person who I think is the most, or at least was, the most active scenario creator in the community. And that person is called patwrobel.
That rings some bells, yeah.
I would call you the grandmaster of the single player currently, and I would call patwrobel as the chancellor of the community for the scenarios. Pun intended. So he sent me several suggestions and questions concerning single player and scenarios in general. One disclaimer that the questions were sent in autumn last year, so some of them you have already mentioned and some of them may already be fixed, but I will, just from the respect to him and his kindness to respond, I will read all of them one by one, and let's maybe comment on his suggestions. So I will be reading that, so please excuse me because I did not memorize that. And also one more thing, the translation is mine because he's Polish and we talked in Polish, so that I have translated them myself. If there are any mistakes in English, that's entirely my fault.
Certainly.
patwrobel's first suggestion is, quote, the ability to manipulate the schedule in Lua. I would like to be able to create a schedule on the fly. Currently, for bots, I have to generate XML files with the names of intermediate stations so that they display correctly on the signs and stop at the right platform. And these XML files are large and time-consuming to create. I would like to be able to create a Lua function that takes station names as input to generate a default schedule for me. Sure, I could do that now, but I am blocked by the inability to map the waypoints object in Lua, which means I can't manipulate it before the schedule is loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically the exact scenario. Just one difference is that he already started to hack it up around, so to just insert the data by force, not by some things that not by official ways. So yeah, it's also very, very highly on my wish list.
Yeah, so you approve this request, and of course we cannot promise anything. So it's just
well, I'm not the one that is creating the backend structures, so it's basically not the ask for me. But yeah, this is my number one thing that I want to see right now on SimRail, because on single player scenarios. Seeing all of these trains that are just empty and without any relation tablets, it's just it's, let's say, it strips the mystery of of the ride.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. The second issue is to ensure that trains that are too far away from the player don't disappear from the server, which causes their status to change when they return to the server. Or if that's not possible, to allow me to force a specific train not to disappear in Lua. For example, a train traveling ahead of us, when it goes out of range, it reappears at the station 10 or 15 kilometers away, which makes no sense.
It makes sense, unfortunately.
Okay.
And what's funny is that I was already describing it.
Yep.
So basically, the train server that is handling the trains that are over the player site, it misses some features. And if he have the the train with all timetable, with all of the stops that is going outside of the player view, it will just ignore it and go as far as it can. So until it have either end of the tracks or red signal ahead. So that might be a illusion of teleporting train, but he's physically going on the tracks.
Right.
So yeah, I would say because he requested it to just set up. Yeah, I want the train to stay on the map regardless of everything and so on. It's a good idea, but it's a workaround. I would say that we would really need to implement all of the features that are in the SimRail to the train server, so it will just behave the same in both cases. Because we don't want to overload the player's computer with the train that is so much far ahead. And since this distance is based on player setting, so you have, I think, the draw distance or something like that in the settings, and it can vary from 500 meters to 2 kilometers. Then yeah, it basically, this is the main problem, that some scenarios were bugging on the one computers and were working fine on different ones. And I think the most the best example of that is that we had the bug that if the train was trying to spawn too close to the SBL, it basically was frozen in the place until it was put it into the SimRail from the train server. So that's why on the track, if you were to pass by some trains, you would see them just starting up when you approach them, even though they were spawned like 3 kilometers ahead of you. But that was less severe example. The more severe example was during the take over the play train. So yeah, numerous of the, I think in the first which scenarios, the cargo ones, we had the most problems with that. For example, I think we were overtaken like twice in the cargo scenario, and both of these cases could just back up during the spawning of the train that was just passing us by. And yeah, to unblock it, you basically would need to go to the tracks and just run in the direction of the train, just hoping that you will catch it at the horizon. But yeah, as far as I know, most severe things were fixed last year. This year, I know that also there were some fixes for that, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think right now all of the things that were distracting the player drive are gone. So yeah, hopefully it works now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, because you've said like he suggests like the workarounds, maybe he like try to help and like suggest the low hanging fruits, without the big rain like restructuring of the code or the feature. So
yeah, we are also talking internally on that case, but yeah, the decision was to just focus on do it as a whole solution, not as something that will be added, but it could in the long term obstruct the scenarios, because we need to remember that there are many people that are creating scenarios, and we would like to see them as the best quality as it can be. And yeah, having that kind of workaround could cause some problems with less experienced scenario creators.
I see. Okay. So he sent 6 suggestions, and I will now read the third one. And yeah, speaking about optimization. So patwrobel talking about optimization. Improve optimization at large stations. Well, I don't think it's it should be addressed to you, but I will still read it. When I simulate heavy traffic in my scenarios, not like in the built-in missions, I believe higher traffic than in the built-in missions, the FPS drops drastically. It's still manageable on my computer, but people often report that the game stutters for them. This happens, for example, at Warszawa Wschodnia, Centralna, and Zachodnia, when there are a large number of trains.
Yeah, the problem is that the trains are not the only objects that are inside the game. So basically, Warszawa, Łódź Kaliska, Łódź Widzew, yeah, also Katowice and Kraków. So everything that have many buildings, the vast station infrastructure and so on, it will be working less fine with the heavy amount of the trains. And yeah, I also had some pain with that because the scenarios that I created were fully packed up, and yeah, it turns out that if you would like to pass Wazy, where you have like hundreds of cards, then it will blow up your computer. And trust me, I was testing it. Yeah, so I can say that right now, my ideal level is 4 trains in players area. So it's like for me the gold spot of the upper level. Yet for the consoles, I limited to single train to just have this space for the computing power of the consoles, since they are not as powerful as the PC.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, some optimization were done with the MIP mapping, although the MIP mapping have some problems and it will need to be enhanced.
It's still in beta, right?
But yeah, the grant. Yeah, it's still in beta, but the main thing that will allow us to do is that you won't see this frame throws during a train spawn up, because it will all just be added dynamically. So it should help us a lot. But yeah, it requires some work.
Now I am curious, what was the number you have tried that quote unquote blew your computer? The number of trains?
I think you can just count the amount of tracks on the Wazy, and this will be your answer.
Okay, next feature or comment from patwrobel. Ideally, a virtual dispatcher speech synthesizer could be added in the future. It takes an awful lot of time to create audio, even just in Polish. For missions and driving is boring without voices on the radio. The simulator could generate some random background text on its own. Even a dozen or so played in a random loop. It wouldn't be so quiet in the game.
Yeah, I mean, generating it on the fly, it will be just, you could just feel the well, not even the AI, but all of the synthesizers gibberish in the background. So I don't believe it will be good for the player that is hearing it. I would rather see or hear, well, not see, the library that I mentioned earlier. So if we had like a library that have like 100 or 200 of different chatters on the radio, and then we could just randomly select one of them and play into the game, I think it might do the job. But there is one catch. Because we would have 2 different levels of radio chatter. So let's say one is the non-essential one, and the second one is the player one. And we would need to think how to manage it. If someone is, for example, pressing the ZEF button on the radio, should it stop the chatter in the background, or will it back up or not? Should the player just wait until it will be over, and so on? So it's because I was thinking about something like that, but it's also a pretty big thing to create. But I would also love to have the chatter on the radio, even if it's something meaningless. But for now, we can say that we are just ahead, and this is the GSM radio, so you cannot hear anything else. But
Oh yeah. Well, not yet in SimRail. So, well, I think you could maybe create like save zones where the random chatted could be played. But then if someone would like to have some important communication to be sent there, they could modify the like save zones, for example. That's one thing. The other thing, like what he suggested, is the even the background text, random background text, like of the trivia, played in the random loop. If we had like the community could have like a, I don't know, generated by you or someone from the team or someone from the PKP, like the real drivers or signalers, they know what the chatter is normally alike. Then maybe like you could even ask community to record them, because if I would be willing to record the audio, but I would have no idea what I should be recording. You know, I don't know what's the chatter normally in. I know what's the chatter in SimRail, but I don't think it's always the same in PKP in real life. And I think we would like the close to the reality chatter.
Yeah, precisely. You know, I had to work with some of the train drivers to know the behind of the scenes and to listen some of the recordings to know a bit more deeply. But still, I would say for me the biggest pain is translating it to English. Well, because we have, let's say, Polish culture of speaking on the radio. And when I was asking one of the beta testers from the UK for help, he did amazing job. He translated it as it would be spoken in the UK, but it turns out to be so formally that it just didn't feel as a Polish railway. So it's still constant pros and cons. So it's tough.
But maybe small steps, you know, like Polish first. I know many international players who really don't mind Polish and Polish sounds. So I think, but we talked about the text. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I don't envy you. Yeah.
Yep. So to summarize, I would want it very much, but I just feel that I am not the right person to coordinate that vast project that would require the work of many people's and the recordings, then mixing it up and so on and so on. So it's a great scope.
Definitely. Okay, 2 more features. The simulator could use some built-in events. For example, it could randomly generate level crossing faults. I guess we didn't have the crossing faults at that time. TOP signals a speed reduction to 20 km per hour. Keeping track of this manually in Lua on the Kraków-Łódź route is incredibly tiring, because there are so many level crossings. There could be a function in Lua to activate a random failure, level crossing mode, where you trigger this function in Lua by specifying a percentage, for example, 1%, and from that moment on, each level crossing or this specific crossing has a 1% chance of being damaged.
Yeah, so he doesn't mean the ordinary disabling the passing, because we have it and we have it, I think, from the very beginning. But yeah, automating it so the scenario is less predictable as it would be. Yeah, that would be a fun feature. Just one problem. As probably some of the players know, in recent weeks, I think we had or months, we have problems with the crossing between Zawiercie and Katowice, and some of them were failing. The problem is that nobody is treating it as a feature. Everyone is treating it as a bug, and everyone is just angry that we did not fix it in a short time. So I'm not certain if this feature would be welcome, let's say, warmly by the players.
Yeah, I mean,
But yes, well, I think it could be a fun feature. Yeah.
well, maybe if we had such a feature, we could also have in your very famous drop-down menu in the beginning, like maybe there could be a checkbox, random events on and off or something, like if someone doesn't like it. But maybe I am pushing too much.
Yeah. No. That's the best idea because I'm in favor to giving players all of the customization options and so on. And yeah, in the beginning when I was discussing all of the cases, I got many voices that no, you cannot add the Pendolino to I don't know to regional scenario because this is not possible. But in the end, you know, we have a player that wants to play the game in the way that he wants to. So yeah, giving him ability to just select whatever he likes, I think it was the best idea that we had in the single player scenarios.
Yeah.
So yeah, adding the let's say core level faults as the semi-random, yeah, I'm all in favor. But I'm not certain how much time it will take to develop that kind of the system.
Sure. Okay, the last one, I think that could be very useful, and you partially mentioned it or already. So here it goes. A detailed map of the routes showing all the SBL names would be very useful. It would make writing so much easier. At the moment, one have to check everything on the ground. The stations are well described with maps, but routes aren't. A table listing the SBL names for each route or line and track would be enough. It make it easier for myself by writing them down for each section. For example, Rogów to Płyćwia, L1 underscore 932, L1 underscore 922, and so on and so forth.
Because basically you can split every semaphore that we have on the map into the two groups, the station ones and the road ones. The station ones are critical because you need them to create passing through the station. The road ones, you don't use them at all unless you want to create, for example, trigger for some kind of action. Whenever it is spawning AI train or creating a road in the next station. But yeah, in the both cases, I don't believe that it would help him to have this information from the outside of the game. Still, I completely agree that if we had a map tool that would just display the whole grid, it would be much easier to create the scenarios, because just flying through the map it takes some time. That's true. And even if you would like to automate it, there are some cases that the naming is not consistent in the game, and I had some problems where, for example, I think in Dańdówka we had like three different names, prefixes for the semaphores, and it could, yeah, it could block you from going on the initial test of the road. But yeah, we have some tools internally. They are more for steering the professional simulators. So they are not good for SimRail usage. But yeah, I would want to see something similar to that added as a part of, let's say, development menu in editor.
Yeah, I guess for the triggers, because yeah, as you said, like why else at SBL? So if he,
yeah,
as we know, he creates quite elaborate scenarios. So I think at least for him, it could be useful. And this feature request, I guess, was a fruit of frustration when he had to look for some specific.
Yeah, and I completely understand it, and I have to say I a bit envy him.
Oh,
because my first scenarios were a bit more similar to his, so I just wanted to squeeze everything out of them to have as many things going on the roads, etc. But yeah, in the end, creating that complex scenarios takes much more time. And since I was creating the scenarios for DLC releases, well, we just needed also something more base. So everyone,
of course, yeah.
Even if we are talking about the multiplayer players, I think it is good for them to have a simple single scenario mode that they can just go once through the road, just learning what is where, and gather the knowledge before they hop into the multiplayer servers. I know it's not happening, but yeah, it's still the possibility for them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, still, it's you envy him, and I admire him for for the effort and that he wants to be the director of a very complex play. Let's call it like that.
Definitely.
Okay, Eridor, we are stretching the time quite a bit, so and that was the last feature request from patwrobel. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us here, but he sent his feature request and comments. So thank you, patwrobel, for that.
Thank you very much. Maybe next time we will create some kind of discussion panel.
Yeah. We are, of course, always open to that. So, in the end of the episode, I would like to ask you about your gameplay sessions in SimRail. So, do you play SimRail yourself outside of development work, like outside of testing, of course, and all the things?
You know what? Not really. I mean, during the last 3 years, I think all of the time that I'm hopping into the SimRail, I'm just either checking something or just going through. Although I can always take a train and just ride for 20 minutes, I don't remember when was the last time that I just joined the multiplayer servers and just enjoy the game. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, in the single player, we don't have signaling, so but you surely have tried it, right? In multiplayer.
The dispatching, yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it? What do you think about the implementation?
I am not the best person to discuss on the level of detail of our dispatch boxes. I have to say that shortly after the release of the SimRail, when I was playing, I would say I was enjoying very much the time that I spent on Sosnowiec Główny. So yeah, it was pretty fun. I'm not sure if I would be able to go through the Skierniewice daily train movement, but yeah.
Maybe on the quieter servers or something like this.
Maybe.
Okay. How about a favorite vehicle to drive? Like, or I don't know, to create scenario too, from the ones we have in SimRail.
I think EPO8. It's the top one for me. To have this classic and yeah, or the U07, of course. But yeah, I am more in favor of old electric units.
That was Eridor, the developer responsible for SimRail's single-player mode and scenario system, and the amazing sneak peeks. We hope to see them in the future again from Eridor. And
thank you very much. That was a pleasure.
yeah, so I think scenarios remain one of the least explored parts of SimRail still, despite offering the experience that simply cannot be recreated in multiplayer shunting. Hopefully, this conversation has shown both players and creators what is possible today and encourage more people to give them a try. If you have never played a scenario before, perhaps now is a good time to open the workshop and see what the community has created. One last thing, I also would like to mention that there is a good documentation available on the wiki if you would like to start creating the scenario by yourself. So check it out. We will see about the cookies tools to help with the timetables or Pewiśnia. So we would, I guess it is safe to say, we would both like to see more players creating and playing scenarios. So thank you again, Eridor.
Thank you very much. And I'm keeping my finger crossed for everyone who wants to try it out and create something by your own.
Remember, you can also reach out on the official Discord servers in all the languages available, and there is usually always someone to help you with the creation process or the problems you encounter. So
definitely our community is amazing and helpful, so yeah, don't be scared to ask.
Do you have any shoutouts?
Yeah, I think I can just give a shout out to all of the dev team and the testers team, because they are the heroes behind the curtains that should have much more recognition than they have. So yeah, good job, guys. You're doing an amazing job.
Okay, that's it from us. Thank you again, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you, bye.
Pogubiłem się. Chwilkę.
Jezu, jaki stres. Tragedia.
Jest, nie? nie wiadomo, co mówić. No. Czekaj, no bo powinniśmy zacząć o tych